How did you waste your 20s? Serious. Depression is AB. I have vague memories of my childhood. I have good memories of the past couple of years. I don't remember a thing of the years between 1825. I just sat at home, played some games, eat, sleep, and just existed without anything significant happening at all. Was heavily ad as a kid growing up. At 17, my mom punched me so hard in the face I had to get up off the floor. I walked out of the house then and didn't go back. A week after I turned 18, I had my first kid. 2 months later, he died of SIDS. I quit caring about life and went hard in the DS the first half of my 20s. Second half I spent trying to get my life together and then got divorced. 30s were okay. Working on my 40s now and will be 40 to later this year. Edit. I am currently at work and unable to respond to everyone. Just wanted to say thank you for all the kind words and other people sharing their story. You are all very awesome and kind, and I appreciate all of you. Good on you. You're only gonna continue to flourish as you keep building. No ambition, lack of foresight, no goals. I spent so much time stressing out about my future that I never actually lived in the present. For me, it was too much ambition early on in life. And then by the time my 20s came around, I became very disillusioned. Felt like life was mundane and nothing brought joy to me anymore. So I hardly did anything, literally wasted a bunch of time doing nothing. You're not alone. I was full of ambition in first year and now I'm a sheck of my former self. Too scared of my parents to stand up to them and live life how I want. Same, I'm turning 26 next month and I don't know if can even make up for last year's I wasted. 40-year-old, you will die laughing thinking about this comment. You have tons of time. The only mistake is assuming that being mid-20s with some mistakes is somehow unfixable. Everyone makes some mistakes while young. The difference is often who is honest with themselves and follows through with a plan too. Improve a change. Just start taking steps and you'll be moving just fine. I've dealt with feeling paralyzed by a situation and you hover and it sucks. But you will feel good when the journey starts, not just when it ends. Your comment gives me hope, thank you. My dad said something to me when I was in my 20s, when I was complaining about having a SH-tie job and saying if I went back to school I wouldn't be done until I was in my 30s. He said, you're gonna be in your 30s regardless. It might as well be as someone you can be proud of. The best time to start doing something to better your life might have been 10 years ago. But tomorrow is 10 years ago from some other time in your life. You got this. I did a PhD. The first time I made more than $30,000 in a year, I was 31 years old. F academia. Academia nuts. I don't lol too often on Reddit, but this got me. I pursued a career in a field that wasn't right for me. Did you find one you liked, or at least tolerate? Yes, I was very fortunate to find a job in the field I wanted to be in, but still utilizing the skills I'd acquired up to that point. I'm currently a paralegal at an arts nonprofit. I managed a similar transition, wasted 7 years working in kitchens, moved into game development, and quickly found that a lot of the multitasking, time management, that's cool. Did you start your new career from square one, or did you go in with some level of experience and sk? Drinking heavily, will never get those years back, thankfully. I realized while I couldn't go back and change the start, I could decide to change the ending. 10 years sober this month. Congrats, 8 years from opiates sober here. Congrats to you too. Ty. In my room alone and depressed, greatest years my A. I remember looking at the passenger seat in my car and realizing no one had been in my car for at least 6 months. Oh God, that hurt. Wish you the best. D's and PSY could have been worse. C. My regret is not enough DS and PSY. DS were less scary 10-15 years ago. Effing sucks. I'm glad I'm past the stage. But I'd still go for a bump every now and then. Seriously, it sucks. I did my crazy D era right before fentanyl hit. Nowadays, you could die from one bump of anything. Used to be able to just do the D and know that it was that D. And if it wasn't that D, you would just feel crappy, not die. I spent the entirety gripped by an eating disorder, obsessed with food. Weighed in and out of hospital, harming organs, teeth, mental health. Such a waste of a prime decade. Wish I could turn back time. Me too. Got into recovery for 12 years only to relapse in my late 30s again. Stay vigilant. F. You mean it never stops? Not quite out of my 20s yet, but I decided it would be better to get experience with real people doing real jobs than go to college. Realized I am in no way above a hard day's work or menial labor, but I am fing bad at This is the flip side of all the people who didn't go to college and then boast about how college is worthless. A useful degree and an intelligent plan for funding its static community schools. Scholarships can open the gates to wealth that non-grads won't ever see. The only wealthy people I've met without a degree are business owners. You won't take home to $150,000 a year in a trade or as a laborer unless it's in a really austere environment, and that's still pushing it, which is a whole different category of hard work. Bingo? A couple years ago, my dad told me a story I did not remember at all. He was a mechanic that was always wrenching on cars in the garage for extra cash. He would always get me to try to come out there and watch him to learn, but I never wanted to. When I was about 13, he got all pissed off at me and started yelling at me, asking what in the heck was I gonna do when my car broke down when I was older. My response was, after I get done with college, I'm gonna pay somebody like you to fix it. I'm not going to be 45 years old crawling under a car, he said. That is the moment he knew I would be. Okay, lol. Funny thing is, now I love to wrench on cars for fun, but I certainly never wanted to do it when it was work. That was my attitude too. I'm lazy. Very lazy. So lazy that I worked really hard in college in order to not have to work very hard at my job. Holy sh! I thought I was the only one. I'm going to college RN so I don't end up fixing apartments for the rest of my life. I'm 28 and I've done nothing. No trips. Haven't seen any music live. Never go out. All I do is work and sleep. Like today, for example. All I did was work, and now I'm going to sleep soon so I can do the same thing tomorrow. Honestly, I dislike life. I've had a total of 6 days vacation since I turned 20. I got a zoo pass 2 years ago, and that's the highlight of my 20s so far. 20s. Looks like you know how to cook a great meal, though. I hope you find a partner to share those meals with. And I hope you've been able to save up money from working so much and can find more ways to enjoy the fruits of your labor. Smiley face. I'm married. My husband has done quite a bit of living, but we've done nothing much since we got married. The 6 days of vacation were with him and his family. My dad passed last year, and it left me in a huge financial hole, since I couldn't find any of my siblings to help me with the funeral. Life has just been a mess. Drank nearly every day. Certainly every day I could. Same, started drinking daily at 21. I blacked out one night and I turned 33 on Tuesday, but I've been sober for a little over a year and things are great now. I'm almost at 2 years. Life is much better. I don't even miss it. Congrats. Being sad about a failed relationship and career. Got married way too young. Same, I was 19 and stupid but convinced I was a whole adult. I'm 21 and now I see anyone below 20 as children. I'm definitely going to think the same thing about 21-year me when I'm 30. Spent too much time watching TVs and hanging out with myself alone. Spent too much time and money on alcohol in my late 20s. Oh, and watching way too much pee. To be fair, hanging out alone isn't all that bad. Maybe I'm just one of the few loners who don't mind being alone, and company of friends is more of a nice bonus, like I can live with just books and my devices alone does not equal lonely. I agree that hanging out alone isn't that bad if you enjoy it. I very much enjoy it. But sometimes you get a little too comfortable and can miss out on important experiences with other people, and overall confidence in socializing can drop too. I'm a late teenager and hanging out more with my ex got me used to the real world more, if that makes sense. Like going out on trips and stuff, eating out, etc. All this stuff I probably wouldn't have done otherwise. I now feel like a much more confident and capable person. I wallowed in grief and got high. A wasted waste of a decade. Bro, same. Hope you doing okay. Being scared of people and letting people take advantage of me. People would borrow what little money I had with and without permission and never pay me back. I think without permission is called stealing. I remember when I took money from a bank without permission. I had to wear a ski mask and bring an assault rifle. I know I shouldn't laugh at this, but hey, might as well. I'm currently wasting my 20s by replying to this post. Glad to have you here with us. Didn't really have a game plan for making a living and waited too long to figure one out. Also was too caught up in my feelings to act on a lot of good dating options I didn't realize I had, which would have been fun. Things worked out great anyways, but still. Any advice for a dumb kid who's just about to graduate high school and has no idea what they wanna do for a living? Me lol. Being too poor. On top of that, being too depressed to be able to climb out of the monumental hole to be able to change anything. Thankfully, I did eventually make that climb. But now I'm in my 30s. Wishing I could do the stupid things that I would have done in my 20s with this kind of money, but knowing better, so I can't. How did you get out of the hole? Asking as a 25-year-old in the hole. I went and completed my high school, then went back to university. I went back at 25 and didn't finish until my early 30s, but it was a worthwhile turnaround. I always thought I was already too old. I am 25, am too old. I'm 24 and struggling with this right now. Logically, I know I'm not too old, but society has a weird way of making me feel like I am just. Because I'm getting closer to 30. That SH is crazy. Jen's acting ridiculous toward age. As if 30 is being geriatricit wasn't nearly as bad for us millennials. Far too much time spent on my career and not nearly enough on friends and family. Can't say it wasn't financially rewarding, but I'd give that all up for more time with friends and family who have since died. Same here, now I have nice house, car, financially stable life, etc., but I don't have friends. I'm jealous of those who have a group of friends and can have fun together. Was in a long-term relationship from 2328. Wasted some of the best years of my life. I kind of get where you're coming from. I'm almost 26 and in this relationship since I am 18. And while I love my partner above everything else, Sometimes there's this weird feeling that I should get to know and love other people, do stuff with them that I don't do with my current partner, but I love him and those thoughts are quickly tossed away. There's still plenty of time to experiment and try different things. And if you had a happy relationship, I wouldn't consider those years wasted. Same here. Been with my high school sweetheart for 12 years, and we both know there are things we wish we had experienced before we got together. We joke about having met each other too early, etc., but we wouldn't change what we have for the world. No matter how badly we want something, we always want each other more. And we talk about those things often. It's all down to communication and what you both really want in life. Hope you're both happy together. College. I applied for tons of internships but never got my foot in the door anywhere. I had good grades, but there's always someone better. It seriously feels as if no human has ever seen any of my applications, because I never heard anything back. It's as if I don't exist. I spent just about everything on the courses and textbooks and software. I never got to use any of what I learned. Now, years later, nearly everything I learned is obsolete. Every job application remains unread. I have nothing to show for my hard work except a lot of pain. What did you major in? Depression. Spent 7 years of college in my dorm apartment reading books and taking naps. Mental illness. Never wanted to go to the doctor due to past trauma and spent too much time unmedicated. But I'm glad you are here now and hopefully feeling better, friend. Wasted at having an eating disorder and worrying too much about my body and what other people thought. Tons of therapy later and things are way better. I don't give two Fs about wearing my robe into the gas station to get my coffee. 26 and I haven't gone a day without thinking of my weight, on and off bulimic. Sad to know I'm not the only one. Therapy, friend, and time. I did for months of inpatient treatment and then it took a few years for everything to come together and now I have zero problems with my weight. I'm thankful for my body and all I have gone through. Best wishes on your journey. By getting fat and then getting so depressed by that I effectively cut myself out of everyone's lives cause I was too embarrassed to be seen by old flames, friends, or people who knew me a certain way. Do not recommend. I lived like that for over a decade. Didn't find the motivation and conviction to change things until I was 35. I got the weight off, but the long-term effects on my body and my mental health, those will always be a work in progress. I'm happy now, and I'm grateful for that. I also do not recommend. Thing about your 20s is, no matter how you spent it, you'll wonder about the other path. Party, get wasted, spend everything you earn traveling the world. You'll wish you'd been more studious and built better foundations. Study hard, work diligently, build good foundations. You'll wish you'd partied and had more fun like the others did. It sucks to know that it's either one or the other. It doesn't have to be if you're born into the right environment with the right predisposition. It's a whole lot of stars that have to align, and I've known people who it works for. I, however, am not one of those people. I'm actually really lucky that the only thing I can think of is not investing more into my retirement. My 20s brought me independence from a toxic family, my wife, a job I absolutely love, and a heap of confidence I didn't have. I dealt with a spate of horrific depression and decision-making, but my wife walked with me through therapy and it was absolutely life-changing. Got involved with a guy 10 years older than me who was an abusive drunk who constantly cheated on me. Didn't pull my head out of my until late 20s and went to college. Drank too much. kids, and marriage. Had my first at 19, second at 21, married at 20. I get to enjoy my 40s without kids, am only 5 years away from my first being 18, but 40s versus 20s.